Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have the prison confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Now, this is, I realize, it's very much connected to the previous series we watched, which was Life After Lockup, which is more of a reality series structure to it, which followed her after she's getting out of prison on parole, or early release, basically, because of good behavior, and I guess her circumstances and everything else, whatever was taken into consideration, because it follows her as she's trying to rebuild her life outside of prison after the tragic events that led to her getting there in the first place. And tragic really doesn't cover it. So this is a docu-series. How many episodes is it? I didn't even check. 6 episodes. It's treated like a docu-series. It has certain elements, sensationalist elements of a reality show, but only a little. It could tell that it feels like it was still produced by the same people, by the same group, I guess. I don't know, production company. But this, it's a lot of interviews. There's some reenactment sequences where actors play her and her mother and other people in the family through the time in which she was going through all of this. So if you do not know who Gypsy Rose Blanchard is, you're not alone. I did not know who she was before I watched this. I know that sounds crazy to some people, that I would not be so connected to the news about such things. I guess this kind of stuff doesn't come up in my feed on social media. I don't know. I'm going to try to be as short as I can with this, but the story of Gypsy Rose Blanchard is the fact that she was a little girl who was raised by a mother who, the dad left real soon after Gypsy was born. He might have been he was underage, I'm pretty sure, at the time that he became a father. And Dee Dee, the mom, was not. But either way, hey, he moved on, and, Gypsy Rose was born. And Mom had a bit of a situation where she decided to gain sympathy for her and her daughter by creating a situation where her daughter was always sick, suffering from cancer, or if she hurt her leg in an accident, she was crippled, and suddenly she had to be pushed around in a wheelchair, even though she was fine. Wearing a brace, making sure you're not aggravating anything. I don't even think anything was broken, but the more she could build up on it, the better. They even got a point where she made up things about Gypsy not having a desire to eat. And so she somehow got somebody to put a tube, basically, a port put in her body so that she could feed her daughter whenever she felt like it. Or, go with me, poison her. She shaved her head because leukemia. All the medication she was taking, which she was not taking anything for leukemia. This little girl just grew up in a wheelchair with a shaved head, and Mom used it to get attention for herself and her daughter, but mainly for herself. Dee Dee got her in front of cameras, and she got sympathy, and she got money, she got fame, she got, there's in the other series, there's pictures of little Gypsy smiling big, meeting her Lord of the Rings heroes, Elijah Wood and Sean Astin. It's great. It's sweet for her. She grew up with a princess mentality, as she describes here. She wanted to fall in love and have herself taken away from this miserable life and just have everything work out for her. It was not to be. Eventually, she had to take some things into her own hands. She found a young man when she was in her early 20s to do the deed. And that guy took care of Mom. while Gypsy was outside the house listening to the screams. You can understand how Gypsy might not be in the best mindset in any situation, at any point in her life. But being an accomplice in this, even though she did not do the deed, she went to prison. And it was meant to be a 10-year prison. And at this point in this series, the first episode of this series, the only one I watched, the only one I'm going to watch, she's hoping to get out early. There's hoping that there's going to be, she's getting her review and everything else. And so they're building up to that. That's the reality show element where they're sort of documenting things as they're happening, and everybody has a camera on them at some point. And we're going to meet in the second episode that guy who's going to be her husband. Gypsy's in prison, but she's got a husband already, and she's hopefully going to get out and not have to wait for 10 years and be released in 2025, which she might have been out by now if she had done her full term. But if you know the story, as I learned in the last series, yeah, she got out early and was able to start living a life and dealing with all the paparazzi, and just by trying to go buy new shoes, and dealing with the prison system and trying to force her to go back to Louisiana and all that other stuff. In this, though, we get to see her being interviewed in prison and telling the stories of what went on through her young life leading up to the point of her making that fateful decision along with her boyfriend that put her in prison. This may sound like entertaining. This may be entertaining to a lot of true crime drama type people. This is not entertaining to me at all. I don't wish this kind of thing. I don't find any entertainment value in the abuse of a child. And honestly, I mean, it's not. I think the story is meant to be that, oh, she's overcome this. She's so many bad things happened, and there was a decision made that made her life, you'd think, worse. But as she says in the first episode, is that she was sent to prison, and it was the happiest day of her life. She was free. In prison. In controlled environment, where she had the ability to make friends, go outside of her own accord when it was time, when you're allowed to have yard time, eat, just interact, have a life. Even again, was better inside prison than the manipulation that was given to her by her mother. And I believe it. And but still, when you just think it's enough, there's like already this horrible stuff. She's being poisoned, she's had her head shaved, she's being told by her mother that she'll never find somebody to love her. That when she would misbehave, the mom would put more lovin' on the cat to make Gypsy Rose jealous. Like, that's just some stuff. And yeah, kids are impressionable, and kids are easily manipulated when it comes to stuff that they don't understand. But holy cow, that's just awful. And they do give you a warning at the very beginning of the first episode. There's a story that just, when you think it's bad, it just gets worse. They go back to by the way, they're interviewing different members of her family throughout this. Her cousin, her stepmom, an aunt here, there, and her grandpa, Claude. They're very much from Louisiana. You can hear it in their accent. And Claude's telling his story about how he didn't see the way some of this was happening and didn't understand how things were going. And you're like, oh, and again, part of this is also on wondering where everybody else was in her family. Why were they believing everything that Dee Dee was saying about their daughter? Like, the dad, the only thing he says repeatedly, anytime the camera's on him, is he wishes he was there for her, that he was paying more attention. Yeah, okay, yeah, that might have been a good idea, but you were moved on. You had already getting a new wife and having a new life, and you didn't want to be burdened down as still being a teenager having a daughter. And then crazy stuff starts happening from your ex, the mother of your child, and you weren't there. Yeah, he understands that. He's part of her life now, at least according to the series this series and the series that we watched a few weeks ago. But Claude, at one point, Dee Dee tells a story, not Dee Dee, Gypsy Rose tells a story about how when she was 9, Grandpa used to molest her. Yeah. 9. And just took her in the back workshop and did stuff. And I'm like, isn't that the same guy we just saw being interviewed a little while ago? Like, wait, he's in his home. He's not in prison, and he's not dead. So they confront him with the claims that Gypsy said, and he's like, "Oh no, I didn't do anything like that. She tried to do it to me when she was 4." What? And I told her, no, don't do that. Okay. Kids are silly, and kids do strange things they don't really understand. But they're not going, "Oh man, I gotta get a hold of that." No, that's not a thing. I mean, not consciously with an understanding of these things. So, sorry, Claude, I don't believe you. But no charges have been brought or anything else that we can tell. It's Gypsy once had she was told about his response. Then it kind of goes back and forth in this. And she's like, I don't want to ever talk to him again. I want nothing to do with him. A lot of these interviews have taken place over the past 18 months prior to when this episode started, which is her being interviewed in the cell block kind of area, like a public area, being interviewed by the documentary team, and then going back and listening to the phone conversations that she's had with the interviewers over the last 18 months, intercut with reenactment footage and interviews with other people in the family. To me, this is not entertaining, and maybe this is a story that needs to be told, that some people need to hear, and hopefully it'd be the kind of thing that if they did watch this, it would help them understand maybe they're in a situation similar to that and to get out of it. The thing that Dee Dee, the mother, had done, it's called Munchausen syndrome by proxy, where she takes advantage of a family member or somebody in her care for the purposes of attention and other benefits. And it's not a one-off thing. It's happened a lot throughout history. And something about Gypsy also, when I listen to her, she's bright and she's smiley, and when she's relating these things, and part of me's thinking, hey, this is a coping mechanism to just to deal with some really dark crap that was done to her by a person who was supposed to love her and treat her well, and it causes her to come off as not so serious about it. I can't direct the way she's supposed to act. I'm not going to bother doing that. No adult should ever have to go through the things she went through, and I do wish her and her family the best, that things work out. But if you're going to try to do it, I have only one thing: just stay away from the limelight. It's just going to exacerbate the things that you were already raised in. And maybe you are trying to stay away from it. And there's still paparazzi when you go buy shoes everywhere, but you're not watching this. I don't know why I'm saying it, but the idea is that if you feel you might be in a situation similar to this, or know someone who is, maybe this might be useful for you to watch. Otherwise, this is just gutting. It's really rough to watch. So yeah, I don't see how anybody would be entertained by it. This is another one of those Lifetime docuseries kind of things. So the same people who made the other one we watched. which takes place after this. So yeah, all it's gonna do is if you're like anything like me, you're gonna watch just one episode and you're just gonna be like, what the, like, why? How is this allowed to happen? We need to take better care of our kids, I guess, and not and speak up when they're in situations that just don't sound right. And usually the mother is the best person to know what's right and what's wrong with her kids, but in this case it was not. So watch this with care if you choose to watch it. I don't recommend it unless it's something that you feel you could benefit from. But I don't. When it comes to reality show or docuseries, this is not entertaining by any stretch of the imagination. Just saying. Yeah. $111. But we're not watching that one. We're watching something else tomorrow. Something a little bit more uplifting. I want to see what the 111 is. Oh, God. This is going to be a bummer week. Something a little bit more bright and uplifting. We're going to be watching Marvel Zombies. Yeah, it's brand new. I don't know if is it a series like the What If series? Because it's the same kind of animation. Or if it's like just a one-off episode. I don't know. I don't know why I don't know this. I think it's a series. But it looks like from the trailer, which is available now on YouTube, it is TVMA. It is not for kids. It is possibly the most violent and gory thing that is on Disney Plus. So that's what we're going to be watching tomorrow, if I'm getting my things right. I just realized it, and I'll come back in a second if I'm wrong. But tomorrow we're going to be watching Marvel Zombies, and the thing that seems almost as dark as this. I almost want to save some of this stuff for Halloween. I don't know. I honestly don't know what the next thing is at 111, what it's all about, but it just doesn't sound fun. It doesn't sound like a Disney fun, like a Disney Plus thing. I don't know. But tomorrow, Marvel Zombies is what we're watching next on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.